Assalamu alaikum, ya habiba domari. How are you? I hope you're well. Hope this video finds you well. I was asked by one of my followers to make a video on tips or advice in relation to first time intimacy, but also the very first few times. Now, I've only been married for just over a year and a half, so I'm not the most experienced to talk about this. However, I did do personal research in this field just because I don't know about you, but I grew up being told by my mom, also family members, that downstairs was for me and no one's allowed to touch it until I get married. And I think that concept of itself just creates this level of anxiety because you go your whole life, nothing happens, nobody goes near it, and then all of a sudden it's someone's haq. That's the most decent way of saying it. And that is traumatizing. That is very scary. It makes you anxious. It triggers you in a way because your whole life you've been told it's yours, keep it to yourself, and now it's someone else's haq, and now it's someone else's to share. It sounds cringy, I know, but that was what's going on in my head. I was like, how can I do this? How can we do this? Because my whole life that was something I protected. My whole life that was something that no one came near but me. It's my territory. How do you share it? It's a normal thing in marriage, but it's also very normal when you've been told your whole life to keep it close, keep it protected, look after it, and all of a sudden you can go crazy. You know what I mean? So if you're feeling scared, if you're about to get married and you're scared of what intimacy looks like or will feel like, or the thought of it, it is normal. I'm pretty sure majority of the girls that I spoke to prior to getting married, they all said the same thing. They felt scared. They felt scared and they felt like they needed to speak to somebody who has been there, done that, to just have little advice and tips. And I hope this video does that too. So, if you got to know somebody in the most halalist way, which basically means that your interaction with this man was very limited, you probably don't know this man. This man is probably a stranger to you. And a stranger in a way, I mean, like, you don't really know him that well. You know enough to marry him, you know enough to make that decision, but you still don't know him enough to surrender, to give up something that you've protected your whole life. I needed to understand one thing and one thing only whilst having this discussion is it is ultimately your body, your choice and your timing, woman to woman. So bear in mind, get married, sign a contract. You do not have to do it until you feel at ease and until you feel ready to do it. And that is the conversation that I want to lead. How do we become ready? How do we go away from being so petrified, scared of being intimate with our spouses that are halal for us? Allah made it halal. First and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you sign your nikah contract, does something between you two. He somehow puts between you guys something called mawadda and rahma. Mawadda is a way of like saying you would be shy and you would be very like preserved in front of everybody else, but in front of your husband there is this ease, an ease of vulnerability, an ease of doing and having intimacy. And rahmah between you guys should be mercy enough that you can be vulnerable, mercy enough that you can have those kind of relationships, merciful enough to be intimate, to be in your zone, to be seen, to be vulnerable, like I said. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts mawadda and rahmah in you, a different form of love, a love with kindness, compassion, fragileness, a love that you're allowed to be feminine in. Very important when it comes to intimacy. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does that for you, once you signed your nikah, you somehow feel like I feel safe enough to let my guard down, because your brain will tell you that this is my husband, it's my halal, you know, it's okay, he's my mahram now, your main mahram, right? But that being said, you probably still feel timid, anxious, vulnerable, scared, and confused sometimes. You might be going through a bit of confusion, like, okay, I know that's my husband, but I'm still scared. I don't know how this is going to look like. I don't know how it's going to feel. I feel scared. So what do you do? What do you do in your first instance? Like I said, your body, your timing, your choice. Your partner should be able to understand this. A grown, intellectual man, especially a man who's God-fearing, will not make you rush things, because an intellectual, mature man that fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will realize that men and women are not the same. And with women, it takes time. It takes time for her guard down. It takes time for her to be vulnerable. It takes time for her to be intimate. And it also takes time for her to enjoy this aspect of her life that she's never been involved in. All right? And this is why I say choose a man wisely. This man, inshallah, you will have the rest of your life with this person, but this man has the power to absolutely ruin you. And one thing you don't want to do is marry somebody that weaponizes intimacy, marry somebody that doesn't think you deserve to feel the pleasure during intimacy, marrying somebody that when it comes to intimacy, you don't want to do it because your needs are not being fulfilled, because you will end up having needs yourself too. And it's two ways being intimate. So be careful who you choose as your life partner. And if intimacy is something that freaks you out, do not be shy to talk about it when you are in talks of getting married. Maybe not in the very beginning, but certainly. And there's nothing haram about that. People will say like, oh no, that you don't have haya, you don't have shyness when you're talking. No. It's a marital relationship. No haram in it. If you're an anxious person and you get really anxious about the thought of being intimate, speak to your spouse. Let them know. Let them know. Communication is absolutely necessary. So I made a few bullet points of things I have found that are my tips or things that I have took from the sunnahs. And I thought I could share that with you guys. Like I first started, be honest about how you feel. If you're scared, if you're worried, vocalize it. Let them know. The only way he's going to know if you're ready, the only way he's going to know if you are in doubt, scared, vulnerable, or you're scared to be vulnerable, or you just feel like you need a bit of time, is by you vocalizing it, by you communicating effectively that these are your concerns. Or just the fact that I'm not ready. You can say that. No shame in it. In the process of you getting to a level that you think you can become fully intimate with your spouse, engage with other little things, other little intimate things. Don't fully shut down. Of course, if you're up for it. But little things, little touches, you know, let you slowly break down the wall if that's what it takes. Little touches, little kisses, you know, halal, you can do that. Slowly engage in other intimate things. You don't have to jump to the main event. It's not how it works. Little intimacies, little things. Maybe you've never hugged your spouse before. Maybe start with a hug. Maybe start with a peck. Whatever it takes. Don't fully disengage with form of intimacies. Holding hands, looking each other in each other's eyes. You might not think that's intimate. It's very intimate. try looking at somebody in the eyes for a very long time. Unless there is mawadda rahma, you'll be like, ooh, what's going on? You know? Little things. And also try to slowly also be more comfortable in the way you dress, in the way you look. Maybe you've never took your hijab off in front of even your mahrams. You just feel like, you know what, no, I know that I can take my hijab off, but I just don't want to. But this is your husband. Try to slowly be comfortable in wearing clothes that you wouldn't wear in front of other mahrams, never mind non-mahrams, because this is a different mahram. This is your husband. So get comfortable in dressing up for your spouse in a way of initiating that I'm here, might not be ready, but I appreciate the fact that me and you are a union, and this is how I'm going to dress around you. Sometimes this dressing is a form of telling your spouse that slowly I'm getting there. You wouldn't believe it unless you have to be in that situation. So take pride in the way you look. Maybe you don't want to get intimate. Maybe that's not the sign that you want to give. But just dress some way. Maybe it's just something different, you know? But don't disengage from little acts of intimacy along the way to when you are actually ready to seal the deal. And like I said, you can take how long you need to, but bit by bit. And I think the only way this becomes easier, or this doesn't feel like a strain, or doesn't mentally really impact you and doesn't last long in your mind, is if the partner that you're with is totally understands that you need your time, you require it, and is okay with it, and supports you to the time until you are ready. And so I always will say, choose your man wisely. He needs to be understanding. He needs to understand that it's not, yeah, we're married and we're gonna go to the main event. Sometimes it does take time, and it's very normal. And also, if you can, people don't discuss marital affairs. It's haram. However, if you are concerned about it, don't just be alone. Just tell people around you that have previously been married. Sorry, I need to get my pen. Who have previously been married, how they felt. They don't have to share, and I hope they don't share the ins and outs of the first time. Like, that's not the conversation we're leading to. But just sharing how you felt, the scariness, just so you don't feel alone, that you don't feel like, oh, I'm the only one who feels like that, because you're not the only one who feels like that. You never will be the only one who feels like that. It's very, very normal. So sometimes it's really important to share this kind of experience with other people, and just ask questions as well with people around you, like, was it scary? How did you deal with it? How did you cope? Was it painful? What helped? Like I said, not disclosing the ins and outs of that marital situation. Okay? If we just go back quickly to communication, like I said, communication is vital. It is vital for you to communicate whether you're ready, whether you're not, whether you want to go slow, whatever it is about your intimacy journey with your spouse, especially for the first time, for the first few times. It's important to be vocal, because they will never know. And intimacy should be enjoyable for both of the parties that are engaging in it. So you can voice whatever your concerns are. You can voice if you feel like you didn't like it, or you didn't like certain things of it, or you just felt like it was so quick. Whatever it is in first time intimacy, don't shy away from that. I know a lot of us have haya, we have like shame, and we are embarrassed, but these are, like I said, these are your spouses, these are people, these are men, you know, it's your man who's going to be, inshallah, your lifelong partner, and there shouldn't be that level of haya. There should be a level of openness, obviously without no disrespect, but a level of openness of you expressing what you want and what you need, and that is very normal. But to expand on the link of communication, you need to also discuss your boundaries. What are your boundaries? What are your boundaries when it comes to intimacy? Is there any? If so, discuss them. And the more you become intimate with your spouse, I think the more clearer your boundaries will become when you have marital relationships. But discuss them, vocalize them. And if the beginning start of the boundary of your intimacy is that you do not feel like you're ready, so you don't want to do it just yet, that is a boundary. Discuss it. Also, I am very surprised. I'm very surprised that a lot of you people do not know that there's a dua to say when you are being intimate, when you're trying to be intimate. And a lot of people don't know this. Hello. I didn't know this. I didn't know this until I spoke to my cousin, and she was giving me a bit of like prep talk about what it might look like, how it would be, And she was like, did you know, Mirfad, there's a dua for when you're sleeping with your spouse? And I was like, a dua when sleeping with my spouse? Like, who would stop? You know, like, what? Like, how did it, like, when did you say it? Like, and when is it appropriate to say it? I was baffled, to say the least. The dua is, Bismillah, Allahumma jannib ash-shaytana anna wa jannib ash-shaytana ma razaqtana. That is a dua of becoming intimate with your spouse, or when you plan to be intimate with your spouse. You should read that dua. And I've been saying it ever since. It's very simple. You think it's so hard because the first few times I just like pull out my phone and be like, Bismillah Allahumma jannib. It's so quick, so simple, easy to memorize, and you should memorize it, because if Allah intends from that meeting to generate offspring, Shaitan will never touch that baby. Shaitan will never touch that baby. The Rasul told us to say that. What a beautiful way to start your child's life. So memorize that dua. It's a very simple yet easy and yet beautiful and beneficial dua. So memorize it. Memorize it before you get married. Don't wait for the first time you get intimate, because that will add pressure. Will add pressure to grab your phone. Trust me, I've been there. Memorize that dua before that. Memorize it before that. Do not share your intimacy with anybody. Like I said, it's haram. Don't share it with your parents, don't share it with your siblings, don't share it with your friends. Nobody needs to know. And quite frankly, I doubt people care. Yeah, I would say one of the best advice I would give for somebody who's quite anxious is just relax. I know it's easier said than done. Relax. Hopefully your spouse has a relaxing aura as well. Both of you relax. Get to know each other. Get to know each other by being intimate, by just a little bit. Like I said, little touches, because you didn't touch him before. I believe so and hope so. You didn't touch each other before. You didn't experience little kisses on the cheeks you never had. You know, you never had him hold your hand. You never had him kiss you on your forehead. You never had him play with your hair. You never had him play with your ears. Whatever works, and whatever you feel is intimate and makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm seen. Because that's what intimate is. It's not just about, you know, producing. It's also about being seen. It's also about, you know, being shown that you're loved, but also by meeting your needs and by just making you feel like you're the best thing in the world, because you can get that by being intimate. But relax, take your time, you know, and don't play hard to get. Don't play hard to get. Don't, especially the first few times, don't play, like, if you want to tease, do it later, but in the beginning, don't play hard to get, because you don't want to put strain onto that intimacy. You don't want it to be a strain to him, or you don't want to even, you wouldn't like it the other way around. You wouldn't like if he was playing hard to get, because it's already a stressful, anxious, probably situation. And yeah, if any brothers are watching this, just take it easy. Just take it easy. Just understand that you are like a microwave. You just click and everything's running. For a woman, it's like a traditional stove. A traditional stove, you have to get the wood, you have to put some gasoline in it, you have to set it on fire, and then you have to wait for it to actually produce some form of heat. That are women. We're not the same. We require time. We require our guards to be down. We required, our body needs, like, our body doesn't naturally just go to a state where we're ready to be intimate. It takes time. It takes time for us to be in a state where we feel like, you know what, I could actually do this right now, you know. And with women, I believe with men, they are not much engaged in their heads when I did that. Engaged in their heads when they are being intimate, but with women, they're very in their head when they're trying to be intimate. And this works quite closely with where you want to access initially. So create her an environment where she can be herself, where she can be vulnerable, and where she can just relax, and where she can just be playful, you know. And like I said, beautify yourself for him. Beautify yourself for him. Even if you're not ready, just beautify yourself with him. And if you allow it to be, goes into a form of intimacy, then let it. But the second you feel like, okay, this is not what I want right now, just be like, I'm sorry, I don't feel ready for this right now. Or just say, I'm not ready yet. Khalas. And bit by bit, you'll get there. And have fun with getting to know each other. Have fun with exploring intimacies. It's halal. There is nothing haram in it. If you have signed your nikah, it's halal. Don't have to rush. Have fun. Relax. Let him and let yourself create this beautiful, fun play environment without any pressure. It happens when it happens. The big event that you're scared about, it will happen when it happens. And even as you're leading up to that and you feel like, no, actually I can't, that's okay. Like I said, vocalize it. That is the key. You need to be vocal when you're ready, and when you think you're ready, but you slowly thought, you know, actually not yet. That's okay. Just say it. Say it. Now, for any girlie who's getting scared, 1, communicate your thought. Know that you are actually in charge, because it's your body that it's going to, the main event is going to happen in. Conversate with other people and express your thoughts to them without discussing marital affairs. Just be like, was it scary? What do you do? Ask other people for their coping mechanism. Ask other people for how they dealt with it. Ask other people what the stitch is. And I think the most important thing is to realize that it can happen as slowly as you want. There is no problem in that. Take your time as much as you need. Inshallah, you have a whole life together. Inshallah, you have a whole life journey together. Just let it happen when it has to happen, and when it does happen, and it's fine. Learn the dua of intimacy. Sleeping with your spouse is very important. It decreases the stress and the anxiety around it. And yeah, I believe that's it, you know. And beautify yourself. Beautify yourself, because you might find yourself in a more better mood after beautifying yourself. You might feel like the compliments are coming in and you're ready to be intimate, you know. But yeah, just know that you're in control. It's happening to you. It's happening to your body. Whenever you're ready, you're ready, and you'll know there's nothing to be worried about, literally. And just allow your spouse to do what he's supposed to be doing, is to get you mentally prepared of actually being intimate. Like the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, foreplay, there's nothing to shy away from that. Foreplay should be a thing that we should be doing prior to being actually intimate and the main event occurs, you know. And just take your time with it. There's no need to be scared. And if you're scared, and if you're anxious, and if something about having intimacy scares you, then speak to your spouse about it and see where he stands and see how he wants to tackle it. And just, you'll come to realize the only thing that you guys want to do is to take it slow. And you'll know when your body is ready. Your body will tell you. The same way your body tells you you're ill, the same way your body tells you you're tired, your body will tell you that you're ready. And if anybody thinks that you need to have sexual intercourse on your wedding night, no, it's not even part of the sunnah. So no pressure, take your time, no rush, yeah. And it's not as scary as you think. You married this person, you chose this person, and one day you're gonna giggle and you're really gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe I was scared. But yeah, just make sure you take your time and you communicate. That is my best and biggest advice to you. I love you so much. Look after yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, comment. I really like looking forward to comments on here, but I barely get any. So yeah, let me know as well what else you want me to talk about, and I might surprise you. Bye.